Sir, we thank you for standing here today with us, sitting as it may be, but standing shoulder to shoulder with us in this fight. The movement that you've created, that we're able to, as you work from the top down, meet you from the ground up. Arizona is eternally indebted to you for your service. So with that, would you please make a few remarks? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Janae. Thank you, Leo. I also want to thank President Trump for putting me here and for allowing me to live my dream of fighting to make America healthy again and doing that effectively. I was involved in the tobacco litigation back in the 1980s. The tobacco companies at that time were the most cash-rich companies in the world. And they saw the writing on the wall that they were facing regulatory headwinds and that their consumer base was moving away from them. So they decided to diversify, and they decided to buy food companies. So by the mid-1990s, the two biggest food companies in the world were R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris. And they took thousands of scientists that they had employed to make tobacco more attractive and more addictive. And they moved them to do the same thing with foods. And they began going into their laboratories and developing tastes and mimicked real food. And people eat those products today, and our bodies are not designed to metabolize them. And your body is seeking the nutrients that go along with that taste, but there are no nutrients. Our food today, it used to be nutrient dense. Today it's nutrient barren. And your body craves it. It's looking for the nutrients which it associates with those tastes. And that's why your body remains hungry all the time. And so you eat more and more, you gain more and more weight, and you're never satisfied. They also developed a whole slew of other chemicals. For example, they learned that one of the ways that your brain tells your stomach that it's full is it counts the number of times you chew. So they began adding softeners to the food to trick your brain into never being able to tell your stomach that it's full. And using this, many other chemicals, they poisoned our food supply in our country, and they made it, as I said, nutrient anemic. We're now the fourth most obese country in the world. And for the first time in history, we're seeing obesity and malnutrition in the same people. And Leo was talking about his trip to Europe. I shared an anecdote with him. I had a son who had chronic eczema. And anytime he ate pasta or bread, he would get outbreaks on his whole body, and they were excruciating for him. He went to University of Bologna for a year, and he ate spaghetti 3 times a day. He never had an outbreak. His eczema disappeared. And this, what we're doing to our children is criminal. And we have to stop. We are now the sickest country in the world. When my uncle was president, 3% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, 60% have chronic disease. We are the sickest country in the world. Our autism rates have now gone from 1 in 10,000 in my generation today, and 70-year-old men, to 1 in every 31 in my kids' generation. The diabetes rate has exploded. When I was a kid, an average pediatrician would see a single case of juvenile diabetes in a 40 or 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door is diabetic. Even more, 38% by the latest NIH numbers, which I just read. 38% of teens now are diabetic or pre-diabetic. 50% of our adult population. This affects everything in our country. It affects our national security. 74% of American kids cannot qualify for military service. When my uncle was president, we spent zero nationally on chronic disease. There were no treatments. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion a year. It is bankrupting our country. And this step that these brave legislators took, and I want to thank the Senate President who's here also. Will you just stand up? We finally have an opportunity to address this, and it's happening at the grassroots. People are saying, we are not going to take it anymore. We are not going to be mass poisoned by an industry that has captured our regulatory agencies. And this is what Leo was talking about. We have 10,000 ingredients in our foods, and the Europeans have 400. And that's because we have captured regulatory agencies. They've captured our politicians. And I want to challenge the press. If you find a legislator or political leader in this state, go out and find one after this meeting who did not support this SNAP waiver legislation. Ask them why. Get them to offer you a rational explanation. I guarantee you they will not come up with one. Why are we paying for sugar drinks that are poisoning our kids and giving them diabetes? If you want a Coke, God bless you, go get one. But the taxpayer should not be paying that in a nutrition program. This is supplemental nutrition. There are no nutrients in that soda. There are none. And why are we paying for that? We should be paying for healthy. We're going to pay for it twice. We're going to pay for it now, and then we're going to pay for it with the diabetes bills later on. Oh, ask them to give you a rational explanation and then sit there and say that does not make any sense. What is the real reason that you voted against this bill? And do your investigation and find out how much money they are taking from the soda industry. And you look at all of these public health groups like the American Heart Association that oppose this legislation. How can they do that? Ask them, how much money are you taking from the soda industry? This is clear cut. There is no reason to vote against this bill except for sheer corruption, because you've been bought off through a system of legalized bribery. And I'm very proud of these legislators and senators for standing up for the health of the people of Arizona.
Yeah.
We need. I want to thank President Trump. President Trump has promised to make America great again, and that means he has to make us strong. And we cannot be a strong nation if we do not have a strong people. If 60% of our people are killed, are sick. He's promised to restore to the American public the promise of the American dream. That a healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person only has one. And we have 60% of the people in this country today who only have one dream. And that's that they can make it through the day without discomfort, that they can survive to see their children grow. And we need to take care of these little ones. It is our obligation. It is the obligation of every member of this elected body. And let's call them to task when they don't do the obvious thing. This is easy. It's a no-brainer. And I'm very grateful to these legislators and very, very grateful to President Trump for allowing this to happen.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.